They expected her to scream. They expected her to beg on her knees. When David threw her out of the mansion she had helped him build brick by brick, everyone waited for the tears. But Sarah Jenkins didn't shed a single drop. She simply signed the papers, picked up her one battered suitcase, and walked into the rain. David laughed, thinking he had won. He thought she was nothing but a discarded stepping stone. But he was wrong. Dead wrong. Because exactly 30 days later, at the stroke of midnight, the doors to the most exclusive gala in New York swung open. And the woman on the arm of the city's most dangerous billionaire wasn't a stranger. It was the wife David thought he had destroyed. And she wasn't there to dance. She was there to hunt. The rain in Seattle that night was relentless. It battered the floor-to-ceiling windows of the penthouse at the generic Skyline Heights complex, a building that screamed new money. Inside, the air was colder than the storm outside. Sarah stood by the marble kitchen island, her hands rough from years of manual labor scrubbing floors, waiting tables, and typing up David's manuscripts until 4:00 a.m. rested flat on the cold stone. Across from her stood David Thorne. He looked impeccable in a tailored navy suit, the kind Sarah had saved for 3 years to buy him for his first big interview. Now he wore it like armor against her. "It's not working, Sarah," David said. He didn't even look at her. He was busy adjusting his cufflinks, checking his reflection in the darkened window. "We've grown apart. You have to see that." "Grown apart?" Sarah's voice was a whisper. It wasn't weak. It was just quiet. "David, I worked 3 shifts at the diner so you could finish your architecture degree. I sold my mother's ring so you could buy your buy-in for the firm. We didn't grow apart. You climbed up on my back, and now you're standing on my head." David finally turned, his face handsome in a sharp, predatory way twisted into a sneer. "Don't be dramatic. I'm grateful, sure. But look at you, Sarah. Look at this place." He gestured around the multi-million-dollar apartment. "I'm a senior partner at Thorne & Associates now. I have galas to attend, investors to charm, and you—" He looked her up and down, grimacing at her faded cardigan and jeans. "You're still a waitress at heart. You don't fit the narrative anymore." He slid a manila envelope across the counter. The sound of paper sliding on marble was like a blade being sharpened. "The alimony is generous," he said, his tone dismissing her. "Take it. Sign the papers. Chloe is moving in tomorrow." The name hung in the air. Chloe. Chloe van der Hoeven, the daughter of the city's biggest real estate mogul. She was 23, blonde, and had never worked a day in her life. Sarah had seen the text on David's phone weeks ago. She knew this was coming. David braced himself. He expected the hysterics. He expected Sarah to throw the vase of lilies on the table. He expected her to remind him of the nights he cried in her lap when he failed his exams, promising her the world if she just stuck by him. But Sarah did none of that. She reached into her purse, pulled out a cheap ballpoint pen, and flipped the document open. Scratch. Scratch. She signed her name. Sarah Jenkins, not Sarah Thorne. She had never legally changed it because David had said it was too much paperwork at the time. She closed the folder. "Keep the money," Sarah said. Her voice was steady, terrifyingly calm. "I don't want a penny of what you think you earned." David blinked, stunned. "You're refusing the settlement, Sarah. Don't be stupid. You have nowhere to go. You have nothing." Sarah picked up her small, worn suitcase near the door. She had packed it an hour before he even arrived. She walked to the door, her spine straight, her eyes dry. "I have my dignity, David," she said, opening the heavy oak door. "And I have my memory. You seem to have lost yours." "What is that supposed to mean?" David snapped, his ego bruised by her lack of devastation. "It means," Sarah said, looking back one last time, "that you think you built this empire alone. You forgot who fixed your blueprints when the structural loads were wrong. You forgot who ghost wrote your thesis. Enjoy the top, David. It's a long way down." She closed the door. David stared at the wood, a strange shiver running down his spine. But then his phone buzzed, a text from Chloe. "Is the trash taken out?" David smirked, the unease vanishing.